Really?
Yeah.
300?
Yeah, 300.
Oh my God, seriously. How can you do 300 in this short time?
Because I work about 8 hours.
What?
Uh, yeah,
8?
yeah.
Do you take any coffee or you don't? Well, yeah, you
No,
don't drink
no.
coffee.
I didn't take any rest.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And what did they tell you about your work today when you finished 300? Did they give you any comments?
No, they didn't tell me anything. I don't know why.
Maybe that's why Mahmoud left them.
Yeah.
I was talking with Mahmoud today.
Yeah.
Yeah, he called me in the morning and we chatted for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And he told me that there is somebody who wants to take English course, and he tried to call me on my number, but he couldn't get my number because that other number that I used to do WhatsApp text with you is off because of students. So I mean, I didn't choose it. So I sent him my second number, and my second number is the Zen number.
Okay.
Tell me,
He didn't
what?
tell me.
Say it again.
He didn't tell me. Mahmoud didn't tell me he want your number.
Well, because you have the same number that he has, the one on WhatsApp. So he texted me on WhatsApp. He doesn't have my Zen number. I don't think you have my Zen number. Do you have it?
Yes, I have. Yes, I think I have your. Yes, I have.
Maybe he forgot that. Anyways, he wanted to chat with me to ask me about an English course to somebody. Anyways, for today, we're going to review some of the things. I know that you need some sleep. So
No, no problem.
I am not going to make it that long, but I have talked with you last time about a few things, and some of them related to work and related to your English. And you remember when I told you that your English has improved dramatically, dramatically, uh, dramatically. Okay, test texting that word to you. جاء من كلمة الدراما، بس احنا
Okay.
نستخدمها من نكتب ايميلات او من نريد نتحدث بس بطريقة نضيف لها فد نوع من الرسمية، وبنفس الوقت ندل على انه احنا عندنا formal English. فهاي كلمة مثلا dramatic، يعني جاي من كلمة دراما، فdramatic level يعني مستوى درامي مثلا، او his performance has improved dramatically، يعني مستواه تقدم بطريقة دراماتيكية أو بطريقة جيدة جدا، أو يعني نريد نوصفها بس ما نريد نستخدم كلمة very good، لأن very good كليشية صارت، يعني كل الناس تعرف تقول very good، فلازم
Dramatically.
dramatically.
Okay.
فمثلا when I want to tell you your English has improved dramatically، حقيقة يعني your English is becoming very good and you have improved dramatically. Now I have a few questions here, Haneen, related to the next step in your work. You told me last time in our last discussion that you have the target, which is 300. What
Yeah.
comes after 300?
Sorry.
What comes after 300؟ شنو اللي التارجت اللي بعد 300؟
Just I complete 300 contact in all the day.
Mm-hmm.
Just that.
I know, but what's the next target? Do you have another target? Did they give you any
No,
other target?
no.
Okay. Now, let's talk about your job that you have right now. Tell me a little bit about what you want to do, because last time you told me that you want to work this kind of job so you can get a better option in future if you master your work.
Okay, so I entered data, people data
Mm-hmm.
uh, in laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I entered name, number phone number, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um,
How many words can you type per minute?
I don't know, but I think a lot of uh, words.
A lot of words.
Yeah.
I will send you. That just reminded me to send you a video. Do you type faster in English or in Arabic, by the way?
I typed in Arabic. Uh,
Faster?
yeah, faster. But
Oh, okay.
I uh, I don't uh, I don't know how to type in English. I type slowly.
I think that just becomes easy by practicing. What I do, um, I I was not typing very fast English in the beginning. But what happened that every time I go to work, I spend around 10 minutes practicing typing in English. And there is an application online. Um, it's called Type Speed.
Okay.
Um, and in this Type Speed practice online, what I do every day I go to work, I start practicing typing. I will send you the link, and you need to open it in your laptop, not now, but later if you want to improve your typing speed in English.
Okay.
So what happens that every day I go, like it gives me 1 minute to type as many words as possible in 1 minute.
Okay.
And when I do this, I um, I I became better I mean typist um, in English. I haven't practiced typing in Arabic a lot, but I think I need to practice typing in English much better and much more, because that is going to give me a chance to write faster, to type faster. In
I think
when
when you type in English, you save the um, ما أعرف شنو يقولون، نسيت شلون يقولون الأحرف، إنه تحفظ الأحرف.
Oh, the QWERTY keyboard. Well, yes, definitely. I mean, I can type without looking at keyboard, but I need sometimes to look at keyboard. But in Arabic, I look for every letter in Arabic when I start typing. Maybe you can type faster in Arabic, faster than me, because you do data entry a lot,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
part of your work. Tell me about data entry. Why do you like to do data entry, Haneen?
Because I didn't have any experience.
Uh-huh.
So when I start data entry. After that, I go to the any,
You go where?
yeah. يعني القسم أحسن.
Oh, okay. So to go to a better department. طبعا كلمة department هي قسم، بس بعض
Okay.
الأحيان نحتاج إنه إحنا ما نتذكر هذه الكلمة. فتتذكرين إحنا كنا نتحدث عن options، دائما إنه keep your language simple. Then
Okay.
when we speak, we have two options: either to stop and slow down and start thinking of the word that we have to say. But this is I mean, this is challenging, you know? Like sometimes if the manager is watching you and listening to you and he wants you to speak faster, they just expect you to speak faster. So the other option is to keep speaking but choose simpler words, simpler, أسهل, simpler words. And in this way, you're going to type, to speak faster, choosing simpler words, and that is going to definitely enable you to practice conversation easily by the course of time, like the way you practice English with the house cleaner that you have, the Kenyan house cleaner.
Yeah.
Now, what do you, talking about the house cleaning, what do you find difficult when you speak to her?
When I speak with her the last time, I didn't speak with her because I want to work in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
When I get out, when I went to home, I eat my lunch and I clean my house and I get a shower.
Mm-hmm. So you got a
Finally,
shower.
I sleep.
You got a shower. Okay, you know, I mean, there is a, you know where the station is, right? In Arasat?
شنو؟
The station in Mahatta. Have you heard of the station?
High station A.
Okay, so they have a very nice cafeteria at the station, and there is a Kenyan person who speaks French, Spanish, and English. You know, most of people who come from countries in Africa, they speak multiple languages, multiple languages, يعني لغات متعددة.
Okay.
لغات. Do you see the typing؟ أنا أرسلها على.
Yes.
طبعا أنا متعمد دا أضيف ذني الكلمات، مثلا multiple, dramatic, dramatically، لأنه ذولي نحتاجهم بالconversation، لأنه مرات من راح تكتبين إيميلات أو كذا راح تحتاجين فد level كلش عالي من
Okay.
من المفردات. يعني حتى لحد قبل 4 أيام 5 يعني مدير region manager، يعني مدير المنطقة، واحدة من مناطق المحافظات الجنوبية بشركة زين، خبرني قال لي أني دا أعاني من الكتابة مالتي باللغة الإنجليزية. من بدينا نتحدث اكتشفت أنه هو مفرداته ما عنده عمق بيها، يعني ما عنده depth عمق، يعني كلماته بسيطة، والكتابة باللغة الإنجليزية يحتاج لها التنوع بالمفردات، تنوع اللي هي diversity. مثلا احنا ليش واحد يقول diversity هي تنوع. أنا ما راح أضيف هواي كلمات اليوم لأنه بس يعني أحب أركز على مجموعة من عندهم. مثلا كلمة diversity، diversity يعني مثلا why do you like Iraq? If somebody likes Iraq, of course, you say because it's a diverse country، يعني بلد متنوع، diverse cultures، ثقافات متنوعة، diverse people، أشخاص متنوعين. فكلمة diversity هاي تنوع. فمن شفت يعني هو مستوى كلش متقدم، هو مانجر بشركة زين.
Okay.
بس بنفس الوقت الكتابة مالته ضعيفة لأنه ما عنده هواي مفردات، فهو دا يعاني من هذا النقطة حتى هو مستوى مانجر. فالفكرة شنو أنه واحد إذا قدر يستخدم if you can use this list of vocabulary all the time, there is very higher chance you can improve your English in writing and in speaking. By the way, the writing style is different from speaking style. When we speak, we can choose any words as long as we deliver the meaning.
Okay.
As long as people understand us, that's okay. But in writing, we have to be more careful when we are doing the writing. Now,
Wow.
why? Because people don't see you when they read your emails. So they need to understand all the details, all the necessary details. التفاصيل مهمة جدا. So, and when you write an email, imagine that you want to draw a picture. ترسمين صورة in the mind of the listeners or readers. This is how we imagine writing. We draw images because people think of images when they think of people. So we need to be very careful choosing the words that we use in writing. And sometimes the words that we use in writing are not the same kind of words that we use in speaking, because writing is formal, speaking is informal. Mostly writing is formal, كتابة رسمية, but speaking is informal. المحادثة دائما عادة تكون friendly or informal when we speak to people. So that's what makes it different here. نرجع اليوم حديثنا عن الداتا entry. What is the most difficult job that you had when you started doing data entry? شنو أصعب مهمة أسندت إليك من بديتي تشتغلين بالداتا entry?
I don't have any problems, but I type slowly, but now I finished the target, so it was good.
So you feel better and you just need to have some sleep because of that, right? What applications do you use to do data entry, by the way?
I don't know, but I think network she take me the LAN to LAN in my laptop. After that, I went to Google.
Okay.
And I opened the link. After that I work. يعني
Okay, so
يعني مو فد شيء ما أعرف خاص بيهم، يعني مو فد برنامج يعني مو على الأكسل أو شيء، هو لينك أنا دا أشتغل بيه ومربوط على الحاسبة بلان.
زين شلون نقول بالإنجليزي برنامج خاص بيهم؟
private program.
أي أوكي، فإحنا هي مو ممكن تكون private يعني برنامج خاص أو يعني مثلا سري. private conversation مثلا محادثة سرية. بس it's a special software program. Software program. It's a special software program. اكو فد نصيحة دائما احنا نقدمها للشخص اللي يحب يجذب الانتباه بالمحادثة، اللي هي انه دائما حاول قدر الامكان فتحفظ 10 صفات 15 صفة انت تحبهم تستخدمهم بالوصف. وهذه ال10 صفات نقدر نستخدمهم قبل الأسماء، لأن هذا راح ينطينا فد بعد أجمل للconversation مالتنا، راح ينطينا إمكانية على جذب الانتباه أكثر. فأني مثلا من أقول I'm going to a restaurant. I'm going to a restaurant يعني جملة عادية، أنا رايح للمطعم. بس إذا أقول I'm going to a very famous restaurant راح تقولين okay what's this restaurant I want to go to, why is it famous. فمن ضفت كلمة famous أنت انجذب انتباهك للconversation لأنه هو مو أي restaurant, this is famous restaurant. فالفكرة وين؟ العملية مو معقدة. إذا تلاحظين المتحدثين المشهورين على مستوى العالم يستخدمون كلمات محددة تجذب الانتباه. فالصفات باللغة الإنجليزية مثل ال colors. Adjectives in English are like colors. مثل الألوان لأنه تنطي انطباع للشخص. Do you remember when I said I saw a car.
Yeah.
No, but you don't know the kind of car
Yeah.
I saw. But if I say I saw a fast red car, now you have an image of a car in your mind, right?
Yeah.
Now I would say I saw a red G-Class Mercedes car. Now you know the word.
يعني صفتها للسيارة.
Now that in your mind has started to use its description and details to understand the kind of car that I saw. طبعا راح نيجي السؤال مهم آخر. شنو أهم مجموعة 25 صفة باللغة الإنجليزية ممكن نقدر نعتمد عليهم. أأكد لك أنت تعرفيهم أغلبيتهم. هذه الليستة اللي أرسلتها حاليا مثلا شوفيها مثلا good, new, first, last, long, great. Little, on, other, old, right, big, high, different. You see كلهم أنت تعرفيهم مو صح؟
Yeah.
مجرد انه احنا بالconversation مرات يصير عندنا laziness خمول او كسل ما نستخدم هذه الصفات، بس بالحقيقة يعني اذا استخدمناهم الامكانية مالتنا على اللغة راح تكون اجمل، وخاصة ينصح بها من واحد مثلا يكتب ايميل، انه دائما الايميلات هذه الليستة مال اهم 50 صفة اخرى باللغة الانجليزية اللي عندنا اياهم، اللي هي able, bad, best, better, big, black. Can you finish reading them and stop at the word that you don't know.
Okay.
المجموعة الثانية مو الأولى.
لو من الثاني 25.
لا من الثانية، لأنه الأولى أنت تعرفيهم كلهم بس أنا أعطيتهم كمثال.
able, bad, best, better, big, black.
Black. Certain.
Certain هاي ما أعرفها.
Certain. When I say certainly بالتأكيد surely.
Okay.
So certain certain معناها متأكد. I'm certain. I'm متأكد. Certainly. When I say do you like coffee, I would say certainly. بالتأكيد. Surely. Okay.
Okay. Clear, different.
Different.
Yeah.
Different.
Early, easy.
Early.
Economic. هاي ما أعرف شنو هي.
Federally يعني federal.
Free, full, good, great, hard, high, human.
Important.
International, large, little, late, little.
Do you know most of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
هاي شنو هاي؟ major.
Major and minor. Have you heard of these two?
No.
الأكبر والأصغر. Major. The major reason, السبب الأكبر. The biggest reason, the major reason. Majority الأغلبية. مرات بالبرلمان مين يتحدثون majority مجايين مثلا. The majority.
Okay.
minority الأقليات. عندنا بالعراق minor الصغير أو الأقل، major الكبير أو الأكثر. ف majority minorities الأقليات، majority الأغلبية. Major.
military هاي شنو هاي ما أعرفها.
military it has to do with Iraqi military.
يعني جيش.
عسكري.
Okay.
National.
National, new, old, only, other, political.
Political. تخصصك. Political science.
public.
real حقيقي. Like when نقول really يعني حقيقي صدق يعني حقيقة. real حقيقي.
recent, right, small, social, special. أشوف شنو strong, sure, true,
white
white, wall, young.
whole الكلي
whole.
هذه مجموعة صفات. إذا أنت تعرفين 45 يعني 45 وحدة من أصل 50، فأنت تعرفين أهم تقريبا تعرفين 95% من أهم 50 صفة باللغة الإنجليزية، وهذا طبعا شيء يعني very good. But the question is, do you use them? If you
No.
don't use them, you have to start using them. خلينا نسوي تدريب شوية بسيط قبل أن ننهي. التدريب راح يكون مثلا I ask you a question، هي مثل اللعبة.
Okay.
I ask you a question and you answer me using this word.
Okay.
What are you able to do most of the time? سؤال عام يعني. مرات بعض الأسئلة راح تكون كلش يعني ما بيها معنى، بس هو the purpose is to help you speak more.
Okay. When I wake مو شنو أنا تسوين بوقتك؟
هذه this is a list of adjectives كلها صفات.
Okay.
فأنا راح أسألك أسئلة أنه مثلا أقول لك what are you bad at؟ هنا أنا bad at ممكن راح يكون الفانكشن مالتها اسم، بس أنت شنو سيئة بشنو مثلا، أو مثلا tell me about a bad habit، عادة سيئة، أو tell me about a bad person، ماني نحكي عن bad person بس good person مثلا. فهذا مثال يعني مجرد I want you to speak about anything but we have to use this list of adjectives، لأنه إذا ما نسوي لهم activation ما راح يكونون active بالconversation مالتك if you know what I mean.
Okay. So أجاوب هسه المفروض؟
Yeah.
ست سألت إنه شنو أسوأ عادة إنه أنتِ أدش صحيح؟
أنا سألت السؤال الأول. The first question is what are you able to do most of the time؟ أنت شنو علشان تقدر تسوي دائما.
I go to work. After that, when I go to my home, I cook my lunch and I get a shower.
Perfect. Now
and
move
I,
to the next one. Quickly. What are you bad at?
when I wake up in the morning, I didn't eat anything. I eat my first meal in 4:30 p.m.
Okay, 4:30 p.m. What is your best habit?
When I learn and when I work, and I feeling good because I have more details and I have experience, so I feeling good.
Perfect. The next question is, tell me about a country that is very big.
I think Turkey, because I went to Turkey about 10 I think ما أعرف شنو مرة يعني
once مرة.
لا 10 مرات
10 times 10 مرات.
yeah.
10 times.
And I didn't looked all the cities in Turkey.
Okay. Now the next question. Tell me about something. Do you? I have so many questions here. But do you love black color? Black color. Black.
Yeah.
Okay. Black color. Do you love black color?
I love black color. When I in the college, I all the day I
Even in
my
summer?
clothes, yeah, it's black. but now I love my clothes is all the colors.
Okay. Tell me about something that you are certain of. أخبريني عن شيء أنت متأكدة منه تماما. سؤال عام.
Okay. When I hate people or anything, I didn't like speak with him or look to him. I don't know why.
Okay. And do they feel that?
شو ما فهمت؟
Do they feel that you don't like them?
Yeah, when I hate anyone, I don't need speak with the people, the person about one word.
Okay. Well, that's it for.
يعني قوسين ما سامح بعد هذا هو.
اوكي. هذه مجموعة من الأسئلة. طبعا أنا ليش أسألتهم حتى نسوي شوية practice the conversation.
اوكي.
وبنفس الوقت نستفيد من ال conversation اللي نسويها حتى نجرب هذول المجموعة مالت الصفات حتى يكون عندنا إمكانية بالflexibility بالمرونة بالconversation. وهذه مجموعة صفات راح نكمل عليهم. If you're free tomorrow, we can have another meeting to finish this list of questions and keep learning more. بس الفكرة الرئيسية قبل لا تروحين أريد أذكرها. Always try to use adjectives with nouns. دائما ضيفي الصفات من نتحدث. انه بدل ما مثلا اقول I'm going to see my friend، تقولي مثلا I'm going to see my special friend. فهذه كلمة special تضيف نوع من الفكرة وجذب الانتباه عند ال listeners when they listen to you. اصلا تبدين ترسمين مثل اللوحة بدماغهم انه انت احنا when we speak احنا نستعمل الصور بالتفكير. So try to always use adjectives because adjectives are adding levels of colors to your conversation.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Okay.
Well, go have some sleep and I will see you tomorrow inshallah.
Okay. بيسع باكر؟
Same time if you're free.
Okay. Okay. No problem.
Say hi to Mahmoud.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. Sir Osama, how are you?
I'm fine, Alhamdulillah. Please tell me about your health situation. Are you okay now?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. I'm good. I'm very good.
Alhamdulillah. What was the problem? Normal flu case?
Say it again.
What was the problem? Normal flu case?
No, it has nothing to do with flu. It's been in some sort of germ or infection, stomach infection that just kicked me down for around a week, and it just toppled me upside down.
Oh, it is because eating outside of the house?
I really don't know. I mean, as you know, viruses and germs are very microscopic organism, and it cannot be seen with the naked eye.
Yeah. I see that. But one of the famous germ that affected the stomach called Helicobacter pylori that cause
What the hell is that?
Yeah. Yes. The name is so scary, but it is.
You just vomited a word that I haven't heard before.
Yes. The Helicobacter pylori that known as a shortcut, but H. pylori. This H. pylori lead to more acidity in the stomach, nausea, vomiting sometimes, something like that. It is so noisy germ.
Okay, and
Yes.
I think that you are very specialized in this kind of topic. What just, I mean, this made me very curious to ask you a question related to your field of work. What just made you engaged and interested in studying pharmacy in general? Is it like some sort of childhood dream, or is it something related to the score you got in high school, or is it some of your family's wish to achieve this level of efficiency and proficiency in the field of pharmacy? Or
Yeah.
give me a detailed answer, please.
No, yes, yes, this is a good question, Waleed, but I think I faced this question many times before. I
Uh-huh.
think the answer is a collection from all of that. Wish family, it is available for each one enter the secondary school, but they are wish to be a physician, a doctor, and I'm always asking the guys in my age or the families, the related families, if all of you want your children to be doctors, who will be the patient? Who will be the patient? If all of you will
I
be
mean,
doctors,
at least there should be somebody to feel sick, so he gets the treatment by doctors and physicians and pharmacists and specialized people. Otherwise, everybody is gonna
yeah,
lose the kind of steam of getting to that position.
yeah,
What's
yeah,
your
you're right.
observation regarding what's your observation regarding the recent
Mhm.
graduates scores and
Yeah,
the way of admitting students to medical schools and pharmacy schools in
yeah,
general? What do
yeah.
you see their level and their efficiency and their motivation? What's your observation about that?
Look, before I answering this question, let me tell you that it was a wish from my family. It was also the score, the high score of my secondary school, but
Mm.
I preferred to be a pharmacist rather than to be a physician because I believe that the pharmacist is one of the most important job and in the society. Why? Because it is the link between the
Mhm.
physician and the patient. And without this link, doctors or physicians cannot express or explain every details about the medicine to the patient because he has no time for that. And also
Okay.
the patient cannot understand when and where and how many and how often will take this and how long will take the medicine. I believe that the pharmacists sometimes play a vital role for to be a physician and a pharmacist in the pharmacy. Both of the
Can
jobs.
can I mean, I have so many questions about pharmacy, and probably we're gonna spend the whole night talking about
Mhm.
pharmacists.
Yes, you're right.
And I really don't mind that.
Mhm.
However, there is this common question that may
Mhm.
interfere with the procedure of doctors. Like lots of pharmacists get the prescription from doctors and they describe the medicine to
Mhm.
patients, but sometimes
Mhm.
they prescribe the medicine, not describe it.
Mhm.
They prescribe it. So based on the prescription of the doctor, they may agree or disagree or interfere with the suggestions by doctors. So do you have this sort
Mhm.
of conflict where doctors don't know as many aspects or
Mhm.
as many information about the medicine that pharmacists do and they get in conflict?
Yes, I faced that conflict many times in my pharmaceutical life.
Hmm.
Sometimes there is a high level of sensitivity between the doctors and pharmacists. Doctors feel himself as the king of the medical field and does not want anyone to compete him in this field. While in the world, I'm talking about the
Why
United States of
why
America.
would that happen? Why would that happen? What's the reason that just made them feel that they are kings and nobody else knows any other things about medicine?
Really, I think that it is because the mentality of the doctors in the Middle East And I think also it is because the economic situation. Doctors do
Economic
not want,
situation.
yes, yes, doctors do not want anyone to give a
Mm-hmm.
prescription instead of them, and that will keep the patients going to the clinic of the doctors and not going to the pharmacy to get the advice. And that
Mm-hmm.
will keep the good economic situation for the doctors themselves. When we are talking about United States of America and Canada, there is a program known as the clinical pharmacy. What is the
Tell me
clinical
about
pharmacy? Clinical,
tell me about it in more
yes,
details, please.
yes. Clinical pharmacy, it is the program that evaluates, or it is the program that creates a pharmacist in the same time, a pharmacist and a doctor in the same time. He's a pharmacist, but he make tour with the physician at the early morning for the patients and give the advice for
Mhm.
the drug of choice. You know what is the meaning of a drug of choice? When physician make a tour for the patients at the early morning, um, tell
Mhm.
the pharmacist that this patient, I think, according to the signs and symptoms, I think he has this type or this kind of infection or this type of illness. So, what
Mhm.
is your device about the drug of choice for this case? Pharmacist, in this case, give the drug of choice for the physician, and the physician write it down in the prescription sheet of the hospital. This is the clinical pharmacy. In
Mhm.
Iraq, in Iraq, they are studying the clinical pharmacy, but without putting a real job on the ground. When you are going to any hospital, you will find a department of a clinical pharmacy, but doctors in the early morning tour do not sharing the information with the pharmacist, do not getting the
Why?
advice from pharmacy because what we are talking before, the mentality, and do not want anyone to compete them about the distance that they are filling in the hospital and the clinic.
So
You
they
know,
just putting
sometimes
are they putting
one
some
time,
restrictions on
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
sharing
yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
information because this is going to have them lack the distinction
Yes,
and the
yes.
superiority and the upper hand?
Yes, yes. And I remember I was working in Al Karama Hospital, Al Karama Teaching Hospital in Baghdad.
Mhm.
And one day, when I'm doing my routine work at the early morning, I have to check all the prescriptions of the doctors to the patients and allocate the medicines from the pharmacy of the hospital to the patients. One of the medicines was not available in the hospital, so I
Mhm.
wrote under it the alternative. And the second day and the next day, I noticed that the doctor canceled my advice and insist to bring that not available medicine from outside pharmacy, and that will bring the family of the patient to pay money to bring that medicine, and
Mhm.
the alternative one is available in the hospital. Why? Because he didn't want to broke his word in front of the advisement of the pharmacist.
Be- because
You can imagine.
that's gonna that's gonna embarrass him and will be an indicator that he lacks sufficient information in his field or for other
Where,
purposes.
where, where is where is the impressment in this case? On the other hand, there is a doctor. I send my assistant to him to ask him that Dr. Osama said there is an alternative for the medicine that you have brought in the
Alternative,
prescription.
alternative.
Alternative. Did you know what his reply was? He said to my
Huh?
assistant, go and said to Dr. Osama, the pharmacist is no more than me in medicines. So what he will advise, Wallahi, what
Mm.
he will advise me about the alternative, I agree.
Uh-huh.
Look, there is some differentiation between doctors. There is an open mind and a closed mind, like everybody.
Oh my God.
That's what's going on. That's what's going on. But you know, I think that 80% of the patients nowadays going to the pharmacy to ask the pharmacist and advise to what
Osama,
is the yes.
sorry to interrupt you here, but I don't think that pharmacist is important in overall health system. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I disagree. Of course.
You have 5 minutes to respond back to me,
Hmm.
but in a defensive way. 5 minutes. I don't
Okay.
think pharmacist deserves this level of attention. I don't think pharmacists are at the same level of doctors in terms of knowledge. They lack knowledge, they lack experience. They are not as important as doctors. Do you agree or disagree? Yes, why? No, why? 5 minutes.
Mhm. Yes, I will start setting 5 minutes in my phone.
Okay. You're
It's
wasting your time and you're wasting the reputation of pharmacy here.
I believe that the
You have
pharmacist
four
is one.
minutes.
Oh, I I believe that the pharmacist is one of the most important guy or person in the society, especially in the medical field,
Wow.
because yes, because he is the link between doctors and the patient, and he's the translator of the prescription to the patient. He know about the medicine more than the physician, because one important reason doctors studying the medicine for one course through 6 years of study in the College of Medicine, while the pharmacist studying the pharmacology science and the details about the medicines for 4 courses through 5 years of study in the College of Pharmacy.
Mhm.
Also, pharmacist can uh, pharmacist can explain the side effects and the drug interactions more efficiently more than the physician because of his background regarding the medicine study, and also the pharmacist know about the chemistry of the medicines more than the physician because he study all the time all the kind of chemistry in the college, organic chemistry, normal chemistry, physical chemistry, and know the atom of the medicine, how they derived it from the ring of benzene with six ring of sexual ring of benzene, and know everything about his specialty. Pharmacist, he is a good assistant for the physician to reach the information about the medicine for the patient. Pharmacist know how to combine or to mix two or more active ingredients to create a new molecule of medicine. Pharmacists nowadays in the pandemic situation do a vital role in discovering the vaccine that will fight this hard and killer virus that invasion the world. Pharmacist also, if you don't know, he is discovered pharmacist discovered the most important and the most famous, not important, most famous drink all over the world, which is the Pepsi.
Oh,
By
so
accident.
you're just saying that there is no other contributor to the discovery of vaccines except for pharmacists and doctors didn't contribute, like Dr. Fauci and his team are not doctors,
Yes.
they are pharmacists.
Dr. Fauci, he is the head of the institute, but who will looking for the signs of symptoms of the illness, signs of symptoms of the patients then infected with the vaccine. The most important two person that looking for the vaccine or the medicine and create a new molecule is the pharmacist and the biological guys, because
Okay,
they are
that sounds,
knowing. Yes.
but I still
Mhm,
feel that you can say more about the role
mhm.
of pharmacists in
Of
terms of
course,
their contribution to humanity, to
definitely,
society, to the hygiene
definitely.
of people and the
Mhm.
protection of their
Yes.
lives from any medication risks. Um,
Mhm.
do you think that well, why do some medications affect people's behavior?
Oh, yeah. Um, what do you mean by
What's
behavior?
your
If you are
point of
talking
view?
about,
What's your pharmacy? What's your point of view?
yes, I think you are talking about a part of the medicine which are using for the treatment of the psychological disease that affect the
Mm,
behavior of the patients with the high level. The least change in the behavior of those patients is the sedative. These
mhm.
drugs or these type
Sed-
of medications,
Sedative. Sedative.
yes, they are described as a sedative medicine that lead the patient to sleep more than the normal case and be more quiet than other people, normal people. And the upper change in their behavior may be to be um, inactive,
Okay,
sorry,
stop
inactive.
here.
Yes, inactive people.
Stop here. Stop here.
Yes.
Okay, so since we are running an interview with a
Hmm.
pharmacist, and I think this is probably a simulation of some sort of interview that maybe later on. Have you worked later on? You do, but have you worked before in a pharmacy?
Of course. Yes.
Um,
I've worked in
give
many
me an
pharmacies.
example. Give
Hmm.
me an example of a time you did not meet a patient's expectations. What happened and how did you resolve this medical conflict regarding medicine or choice of medicine or choice of alternative medicine?
Well, the story is in this
One minute.
in this 1 minute. Sometimes a patient taking a medicine from you and go and return back after 1 day, taking one tablet from the sheet and ask you to return back to him his money because this medicine did not affect him. And my question to him at that time, if you want one tablet to solve or fix your disease case, why the manufacturer put 10 tablets in the sheet? And you can, wallahi, I faced this case
Okay.
in the real.
Uh-huh.
And another case, it is a joke for you. Some guy came to me to the pharmacy with his daughter with 10 years old and explained to me her signs and symptoms. And I said to him, yes, I know what she suffered from. Let me give you the drug of choice. He said to me, no, 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 please, please, I don't want medicine. I said to him, why so you are coming to the pharmacy? If you want me to ask God to make her good, I'm ready. Why you are coming to the pharmacy without getting any medicine? What do you want me
Okay.
to do for her?
When you're working, um, when you're
Yes.
working with a larger number of patients at pharmacy,
Yeah.
is it challenging to
Yes.
provide excellent service to everyone, or do you go by priority of patients' seriousness and disease?
Yes, the
1
priority
minute.
for the serious, yes, the priority was always for the serious cases and also for the geriatric patient because they cannot stand long time in the pharmacy. But to be honest,
Can
I
you
paid,
elaborate the difference between geriatric and pediatric uh,
of course,
people?
yes.
Hmm.
Pediatric people, the children, and the geriatric people who over 80 or 70 years old, they are cannot stand long time in the pharmacy, and they have always short withstanding mood. They be angry too very fast and want to take their medicine very easily and fast. But to be honest, I always paid the same level of care for all the age of the patients that coming to my pharmacy. Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Now, since you have very limited time constraint here, tell me about a time that you had overwhelming number of responsibilities, and what did you do about that once you started working in the management, sales, marketing of
Mm.
pharmacies?
Yes. It is one of the most noisy thing for me in the last period or in the new a new job because it affects my family time. The short time that I spend in the office with the huge number of dossiers that I have to review and the huge number of emails that I have to replay, the frequent meeting with the representatives or with the clients,
You
uh,
mean
uh,
representatives?
representatives and the
Okay.
clients led me to bring some of the work to the house, and I spent always maybe 4 to 5 days of the week, the afternoon time to complete and finalize that accumulated business. That's the difference.
That leads me to my next important question, very important question.
Mhm.
Describe a time you had to use fact-finding skills to solve a problem, or describe a time where you had to use your own personal experience to solve a medical problem with one of the patients or at your office regarding some sort of medicine that was given to patients.
Well, in the pharmacy, maybe I'm facing this type of problems, but in the office, I do not think I'm facing that type because in the office we are dealing with the registration of the company that manufacturing the medicine and importing and exporting it to Iraq, and also the registration of the product itself. So we are dealing with papers, with documents, and discussing always some details like the toxicity study, the stability study, the safety study, discussing some certificates related with these dossiers like the free sale certificate, the certificate of pharmaceutical product, something like that. Always looking for the companies that have good reputation and marketing their products in the Europe or USA, Canada, in the countries with the gold health system, looking for the GMP certificate, like which is the good manufacturing practice. But return back to your question, about the pharmacy. In the pharmacy, it was a challenge to speak with the patient that do not want to go to the clinic of the doctor and came to
Maybe because
you.
maybe because they cannot afford going to a doctor, or the cost of visiting
Yes,
a doctor is
yes,
very high.
yes. Almost of them thinking about what you talked now. They do not want to pay the fees of the doctor. They cannot bear that fees and came to the pharmacist in the pharmacy and talking about signs and symptoms, getting the medicine, and what they have to do only to pay the price of the medicine. They do not give any fees about the advisement that they are taking from the pharmacist. So it was a challenge to speak with the patient, know the signs and symptoms, know the mentality of the patient. Maybe he is not a real patient, maybe he's a placebo one, and you have to ask many and many questions and spend time and effort to get the real case that he is suffering from and give the drug of choice. And maybe he will visit you more and more time, many times in the pharmacy, and you have to discover if he get benefit from that medicine or not. And if he did not get the benefit, it is a real no benefit, or it is a fake because he has a psychological action,
No,
case or not.
let me ask you to elaborate a little bit more on the beneficiaries and the benefit of medicine, because this word is still ambiguous to me. When we
Mhm.
come to talk about the benefit of certain medicine or medical
Yes,
prescriptions, what, or drugs in general, what do you mean by benefit of medicine? How do you
yes,
define it?
yes. Why we are giving medicine for the patient? Because we want, we as a pharmacist, and the line cause that make him patient. We
Mhm.
want the patient to be good in fast way and in low number of days. What is the benefit of the drug? The benefit of the drug or the medicine is the positive result of taking the pill or the tablet, capsule, syrup, any type of the medicine, any dosage form, but it depends about many factors. One of them, the right time to take that medicine, how often to take that medicine, twice daily, three times daily, something like that, and also depend about how that patient follow the instructions of the pharmacist or the doctor himself to take that medicine. Some patients repeat to take the medicine without take the advisement from the pharmacist or doctor, and that will lead to get a side effect or adverse effects from the medicine that it was intended to get him to make him better, but it will make his case very worse because he repeat the prescription without permission from the specialist guys.
You
Yes,
mean the doctor or the
yes, the
physicians?
pharmacist. Well, the doctor, I think the doctor is a certificate of a study, is a level of a study, but it is good to go to say physician is more accurate word to describe the job, the physician. Yes.
What do you do if a customer asks about an over-the-counter drug you don't know about?
Oh, yes, I faced that many times, and that is the cause that our teachers in the college advised us to always have a reference of medicines in your pharmacy. One of the most important reference is the BNF, which is the British Nationally Formulary. It is an important book and a nice, beautiful reference. It contains all the medicines that approved all over the world in this guide. You have to put this guide or that reference.
Just
Yes.
just to correct here, this is very minor correction, that have been approved.
Yes.
Have been approved.
Have been approved.
Because
Yes.
because approving medicine is not a human quality for medicines to approve themselves. So if you say that the kind of medicines that approved, you have to say that's approved themselves. But since medicine is not a human, we cannot attribute perfect.
Yes, you are.
So that is present perfect, and for indicating that it is started being approved at certain point in time ago, and then it's still continuing to be approved. And the key is been. The key is been, has been, have been here.
Yes.
Or
That
you can simply say the kind of medicines that were approved, if you just don't want to refer to the continuity of approval here. Keep going.
Yes. So I faced many times a new drugs or new medicines, new molecules. I didn't hear about it before, and check that in the BNF or in any guide that I have in pharmacy, and found it. Read about it for what disease they are using for, and how much it will cost the patient if I want to bring it to him from outside Iraq, from Jordan, or from Beirut, for example, and tell him about briefly about that medicine. And always I appreciate the doctors or the physicians that wrote a new molecule for their patients, because I can imagine or consider that physician an updated guys looking for the new molecule, because the new molecule maybe has fast onset of action, longer duration inside the body, with less side effect in compare with the ordinary or the old-fashioned of the medicine that used for the same case of disease.
Are there medicines with no side effects?
No medicine with no side effect, but always you can find a medicine with low side effect and a medicine with high side effect. For example, let me give you an example. If you have a headache, or if you have pain back.
If I do have what? The first one you said?
Headache.
Say it again.
Headache.
Do you have your phone next to you?
Yes.
I want you to Google this word that you just said.
I think I heard a false word.
No, the word that you just said, I want you to Google it and check the pronunciation of this word. Just for fun.
Headache is defined as a pain arising from the head or upper neck of the body.
I don't mean that. I mean the pronunciation. So you need to type the word, and after that you say pronunciation, so you can hear it.
Okay, let me try that. Headache. Yes. Sorry, there's some.
What the hell is this?
Some.
What
Yes, there is some egg, some as.
No, this is not the correct dictionary.
Yes.
Let me hear.
Headache.
Say it again.
Headache.
Headache.
Mm,
What do you think about this word?
I don't think
What is
anything.
the correct what is the correct pronunciation?
Headache. Headache.
Now, this word has two components. The word head and the second word is ache, and ache means pain.
Yes.
So
Yes.
head
You're right.
head describes the kind of pain. The pain is located in the head. If we
In the
have
head
stomach,
or the upper
if
neck.
we have
Yes.
if we have a stomach, we have stomach ache. If we
Yes.
have, so it's headache,
Yes.
not
Yes.
headache,
Yes.
because
Headache.
headache, because the word
Okay.
ache means pain. I have some toothache,
Okay.
headache,
Yes.
stomach ache. We say
Yes.
headache because we commonly heard this from our teachers.
Okay. Yes. You are right. You are right. You are right.
So it's a
Let me
stomach
give
ache.
you another.
Uh-huh.
Let me give you another example. If you
Please
have
forgive
a
me if I correct the pronunciation here, because I find it fun to discuss these words and find a better way of saying them.
Yes, yes. If you have a back pain and
Mhm.
you have to take a medicine to relieve the pain that you have, so maybe in the house you have paracetamol tablet and
Okay.
diclofenac sodium, which is the Voltaren tablet. Both
Yes.
of them, if you take one of them, you will get the result by relieving the back pain. But paracetamol consider with a low side effect in compare with the Voltaren. Why? Because paracetamol is safe on the stomach. If you take 1 ton of paracetamol, your stomach will not affect in any way. But if you take maybe, for example, 4 tablets of diclofenac sodium per day, maybe with 50 milligram for each one, you will get a stomach ache, or maybe you will get an ulcer. So this is the difference.
So you're saying that the side effect of paracetamol is far more than the side effect of diclofenac sodium.
Yes, no, the diclofenac sodium side effects is more than the side effects of the paracetamol.
So
Paracetamol is
we
safest
say
one.
it's the opposite. It's the opposite.
Oh, yes, the
Okay.
opposite.
Now,
Yes.
I have another question here, and the question is this.
Mhm.
How do you deal with customers or clients or patients who ask you for off-the-counter medicine?
Mhm. OTC.
Not on the counter. It's off the counter. So it
OTC,
should.
over the counter is OTC. Off the counter, the medicines that need a prescription from the physician. Yes, your
Or
question.
doctor. Yeah,
Yes,
that's my question. How do you deal with this
yes.
sort of situation? And have you had any sort of occasion where you had to deal with this sort of situation before?
Yes, of course. Sure. Sure, I faced that situation before, and always I was advising them to go to the doctors because this is a critical case. I cannot give an advisement. I cannot take a decision because this need more detail from the patient to the physician. The physician is um, has more experience rather than me, and the signs and symptoms that lead him to discover what is the real case of the patient, to define the physician rule and the pharmacist rule. My experience in medicines is more than the physician, but the physician is more experienced than me in discovering and detecting the kind or the real case of the patient disease.
Okay, that leads me to my next question about pharmacy.
I like your questions regarding the pharmacy.
What's the most vital business aspect of a pharmacist's job?
In Iraq
Yes.
or in general?
In Iraq.
Look, in Iraq,
I prefer you talk about Iraq because this is part of your field experience and it's
yes,
going to give you a better chance and horsepower to speak more
yes,
and better.
yes, yes. The most important job or duty or the rule for pharmacists in the pharmacy in Iraq is dispensing the prescription and furthermore selling the OTC drugs that will that are sold out of the prescription. But this is unfortunately because the real rule of the pharmacist in the world is to discover the new molecule of the medicine and to discover the new mixtures and to seeking or searching about new molecules, not to dispense in the pharmacy dispensing the prescriptions. This is the rule of the pharmacist assistant in the world. When you're going to United States
You mean
or
this is
Canada,
the role? The
yes,
role.
the
The
role.
role.
Yes, when you are visiting, of course, you are tried that trial and visited a pharmacy in the USA. You didn't you didn't find a pharmacist, maybe at least you didn't find a pharmacist that dispensing the prescription over the counter. There are many assistants in the pharmacy. Maybe you are facing or talking with the pharmacist about signs of some signs or symptoms or a case that you faced when taking the medicine, side effect, drug interaction, something like that. But dispensing prescription is not from the duties of the pharmacist all over the world, but it is the most important role of the pharmacist in Iraq, unfortunately.
Role. Okay, so
Role.
let's stop here talking about pharmacy and discuss some grammatical aspects that we need to finalize this session with.
Yes.
And conclude our session talking about pharmacy and pharmaceutical aspects. Here, this is a list of words that you said during the session when you were talking.
Yes.
And I have some feedback regarding this list of words that we will go through. And we'll discuss some grammatical aspects of articles, definite and indefinite articles. أدوات التعريف والتنكير. راح نناقشهم بسرعة. So the first word, how do you say this word? The first word. Do you see it?
Let me go to the list of Skype.
Let me walk you back. Let me walk you back to the beginning of conversation that we had. The first word is naked eye. Naked eye.
Yes.
بالعين المجردة. So in English we don't say abstract eye. Because sometimes people confuse the word abstract, which is mujarrad, to mean naked. So naked eye.
I faced this word in the college because we were looking or searching about the viruses or bacteria in the slice under the microscope. So we were differentiate the germs that we can see it by the naked eye and the germs that we have to use the microscope. Yes, naked eye and the germs that we have to use the microscope for search for looking to them.
Okay, and the second expression that we commonly hear in English is upper hand.
Yes.
What does it mean? بالعربي.
بالعربي اليد الطولة.
Perfect.
The control. It means the control.
Yes.
Yes.
The third word is
reply.
Reply.
Yes.
So it's not replay or replay. It's reply.
Yes.
And the next word is
sedative.
Sedative. Okay.
Yes.
Sedative.
Yes.
Sedative. And then we talked about headache and stomachache and backache.
Yes.
And when we want to say يعني هو بالعكس, it's the opposite. Conversely.
Yes.
Now, going to the next
list. Sometimes we use vice versa, Walid. Is that right?
Vice or vice versa has a different meaning.
Which is in Arabic والعكس صحيح.
Yes, but it's well, when we want to say بالعكس, it's the opposite.
Yes, it's opposite.
Oppositely speaking.
Mhm.
Now, to this point, we are completely saturated with enough vocabulary, and let's move to a little bit of discussion about grammar here. I want you to
Yes.
open this document. If you have access to it, are you talking to me from your phone or from your laptop?
No, from the laptop, and I will
Okay,
open
but
it.
by the way, just you reminded me of something. We always confuse the word rule with the word roll. Rule. So we say abroad.
Why
abroad.
when we are a traveler, and someone found us and asked there is some change in the phone, in your phone, or cannot reach you, we are saying we are outside Iraq. Is that
We are
wrong?
abroad. That's commonly grammatical incorrect answer. Because we do not attribute the word outside to our country. I mean, we can use it, but in very limited sense.
So what
but
is
the
the
more common
correct
ones,
word?
abroad,
Abroad.
because
Like
we are
they say
abroad.
in the airplane, welcome in abroad.
Welcome abroad. No,
Yes.
that's a different one. That's a different one. That's welcome aboard.
Okay.
Welcome aboard. That means مرحبا بكم على المركبة أو كذا.
على متن الطائرة، نعم.
على متن الطائرة. So welcome aboard, but not welcome abroad.
Okay.
Were you able to open the document or not?
Yes, I opened. This is the exercise 11, but why there is a big X?
Because we're not focusing on this exercise. We are focusing on the one after, the one beneath.
The articles?
Yes, that's a little bit confusing one. Go to exercise 12, one-eyed monster. What do we say? We just need to add a or an. So do we say a one-eyed monster or in one-eyed monster? Just quickly, because this is going to help you when you're writing. A or an?
A or an. And one-eyed monster.
Oh, okay. Well, no, it's a one-eyed monster, because W, we depend on pronouncing the word. O is pronounced with as if it is W. So W is not a vowel sound.
Is it wrong to use a before the O?
It's right. It's correct to say a one-eyed monster, because we are talking about a one monster, not in one monster.
Really, when I pronounce it as an one-eyed, I felt that it is very heavy.
Doesn't make sense.
It's very heavy,
so
heavy on
go by
my
that rule. Go by
Yeah.
that rule. If you feel it difficult, that means there's something wrong about it.
Yes.
A university graduate or an university graduate?
A university graduate.
Okay, go to the third, answer them by yourself. Just give me a chance to listen to you.
If it is the same as university, so it is
yes, correct.
A used
Three.
car. Yes.
Go to
a used
three.
Car. A used car.
Four.
A hurricane.
Hurricane. صار. Five.
Yes. An only child.
That's you're giving me the answer with a tone of a question.
I know. Yes, an only child.
An only child. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
House cell.
Yeah, of course, a house cell.
Eager student.
Eager student. An eager student.
Usual mistake.
A usual mistake.
Now, in Ielts, if you say in one-eyed monster, that is classified as a wrong answer because you did not use the right article.
Okay.
So you gotta be careful here. One part of the answer is wrong. The whole answer is wrong. They're very strict about that.
Mm.
Exercise 13, choose the article that correctly completes each sentence below. The same. Beyond the ranch is a or in desert. Quickly, come on, it's very easy.
Yes, beyond the ranch is the desert.
2, a or in answer.
If you are stumped for an answer.
3,
A head-on collision between two cars is a much less likely to
collision.
A head-on collision between two cars is much less likely to occur than an off-center. An off.
4.
And the 4, Colonel Lowry wore a blue striped shirt and a yellow polka-dotted tie.
The word is colonel. The L is pronounced R here.
Which one? Colonel?
احنا بالعربي نقول colonel بس هي بالإنجليزي colonel.
Wow, colonel.
This is the only word in English that L is pronounced R.
That's a new word for me.
It's a new information, but not new word.
Okay.
Do you hear it?
Yes, colonel.
Colonel. So it's pronounced colonel. This is
And
the only word.
Polka-dotted.
Colonel. Do you see? I type it up in the chat. Colonel.
Yes, colonel. And what about polka-dotted?
It's a kind of tie. It's a kind.
Okay, of course.
It's not as important to our discussion as the other one.
Okay.
I sent you another file. I'm not sure if you got it or not.
Yes, I got it. Download.
It's a second file.
Yes, I will open it. Yes, it's starting by 5, by sitting next to.
By sitting next to exit.
Yes, by sitting next to an exit on public transportation.
6. Don't read the whole question. Just focus on the word and what comes after that.
6, a kitchen.
7.
Cash in an empty. 8.
Next, Sheila,
a uniform.
9.
Each ear. A cupboard.
10.
It is an honor to be.
Then هو كلمة honor تنجمع.
Honor, no, cannot be.
Say 14. Okay, exercise 14.
It is an honor, is right?
Correct.
Okay. 14, fill in the blanks with an, the, or leave the blank. All is making $15.
Al is making $15.
Al is making $15.
It's getting complicated.
Yeah.
There's only one answer here.
Making $15 an hour.
Okay. Now go by your intuition. Intuition يعني الحدس مالك.
Okay.
Think of how you usually hear it if people talking.
Really, I'm doing that.
I love it. Just rely on your intuition.
Depending
on
my
rare cases. There are rare cases where it just goes off Correct. Jill makes it
Make it a habit. Eh,
free to tell.
to tell a truth. Eh.
To tell.
To
To tell.
tell the truth. The truth.
Perfect.
The truth.
I love.
Yes.
I love it.
4. Thank you. Helen showed an initiative.
Initiative. مبادرة. Initiative.
Initiative. Yes. An
Initiative. Not
initiative.
initiative.
Okay. Initiative. Okay. 5. Losing as little as the quart of blood.
Quart
The
of blood.
The quart.
A quart of a quart.
A quart of blood.
Yeah,
Okay.
because if you say the quart, that means there is certain quart of blood out there.
Okay.
Next.
Over the last 20 years.
I love it. Next, you're getting used to it.
Yes, major changes have taken place in the financial service industry. There.
Next.
8. Dr. Richard predicts an extinction. And
next.
Most people believe that the library there. 10. Taking a hot bath is a good way. 11. Lower programming costs raised the net income reported by the major television network this week. There.
Okay. Next.
15. Supply the article there if it is necessary. And number 1, I think no need.
Which point
no need.
are you talking about?
Exercise 15, number 1.
Okay. Now for this exercise, I'm going to ask you to put it for our next meeting because I want you to do a little bit of focusing here on the words, because these are proper nouns. These are names of countries and continents and places. So do we say Caucasus, or do we say the Caucasus, or we don't say that? Do we say Hague or the Hague? Have you heard of Hague or not?
No, Hague no, but Caucasus, yes, I heard about it, which is the place close to Russia.
If you hear Hague court, that means محكمة لاهاي. Hague.
Ah, yeah.
But for your information, هذه هو دولة
you mean
يعني
the
هذه
international the International Justice Court.
Yes, but do we say Hague or do we say the Hague? That is what I want you to do a little bit of research about.
Okay.
For our next meeting.
Okay.
This was very informative meeting, Mr. Osama. I look forward to see you soon, inshallah. Thank you so much for your initiative.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And your active participation.
Thank you very much, Walid. You are very helpful. You are very helpful to me. Thank you very much.
Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. For you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Say it again.
Just give me a few moments so I can check my headphone.
What are you checking with your headphone? I mean, you want to get your headphone?
It is. I want to check it because it is written that's connected and I cannot hear.
Okay. Do you hear clearly my voice or not?
So how are you doing today?
I'm good actually. Yeah, I've been having some sort of inflammation in the past couple of not couple of days. Actually, it's been 3 days so far. So it's just shrunk my energy and just trembled my motivation, over the past 3 days. I didn't seem that I've accomplished that much so far. So that just made me feel a little bit frustrated, but things happen, and unpredictable ones especially. So we need to be prepared all the time. How about your day so far? How is your husband?
Good.
How's your family going on so far?
They're very good. They're doing so good. Thank you. Thanks
Okay.
for asking.
I heard that you wanted to do the meeting earlier. What was the potential reasons for that? Do you want to go?
Okay, because
You want to have your
because
kid sleep?
yes, he used to sleep at 10 p.m. So
Your
and
your
I
little
want
kid,
who
your little kid or your old kid?
yeah, the little one. Yeah, and
Okay.
I am responsible for that job, so I will
Okay.
postpone his
As
sleeping hour.
um, well, please accept my apologies. I think this is my fault.
No, it's okay.
Not to. No.
Because
What kind
the
of?
last few days I was at my parents' house, and you know, my mother took that side to
Oh,
take care, care of my son. But now I return to the casual
okay. So
duties.
it seems that she took a lot of effort, you know, taking
Correct.
care of your kid, and
Just like
is this?
all mothers did.
Yeah. Say it again.
Just like all mother did or do.
Okay, perfect. Now, what's your plans? By the way, is my voice loud, moderate, or you know, low? How how do you rate my voice so far?
I think it's clear,
Okay, perfect.
clear, and yeah.
Okay, do you hear any echo in my voice? Just checking.
No.
Okay, perfect. So what's your plans and preparations for this week? Starting from Sunday, we
Okay.
we started having. Now there is a major reason actually why I ask this kind of question constantly, and that comes from my initiative to have people think of a plan where they can manage their time and efficiently maximize their effort to do some sort of accomplishment in terms of language, in terms of life, in terms of personal development, and in terms of social cooperation and integration on many aspects. So asking you this kind of question is not cliche as much as it is to tap on and probe. I keep saying this word. I think it's a medical word. Is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
something
So
like a
I'm
needle.
just.
That's touch thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I am using it, but not in that sense.
Yes. I explained to the medical sense.
Yeah. I'm more of the metaphorical aspect of that التعبير يعني الجانب المجازي of that expression here. So what's your plans? What are you up to this week so far?
My major plan and struggle that I am in past 3 weeks is I want to find a kindergarten so my child can join it. But because of the corona pandemic, they have very strict rules that the children under 3 years should not 3 and below should not be admitted to the kindergarten. So I keep looking, and I want him to join to the kindergarten. I'm keep searching. So these are my major duties for the next week.
Okay. Now, what kind of features are you looking for in this sort of kindergarten or kindergarten? Both of them are acceptable pronunciations.
Okay. First, of course, it has to be very clean. It has a large garden with multiple toys. He like to run. He like to play with toys. He like trampolines. I'm looking for trampolines. Exactly.
For you or for him?
Yeah, specifically. What?
For you or for him?
for him. Of course, for him. Yes.
Well, since you are
And
laughing, I feel that there is some sense of energy that you want to try it, but you don't find it, or you feel that
yeah,
it,
because
you're
all the
going to be
trampolines are designed for a single person or a single child. And I'm
okay.
a very tall person. I'm 137 centimeter.
They
Okay.
they may
So
tailor
73.
for you specifically, customized for Miss Zainab.
Yes, I saw a lot of the trampolines in the movies. They are very large and can contain or occupy all the family members.
Well, I only see trampoline in the funny videos where they fall or the trampoline just erupts
Yeah.
or rupture. It gets
Yeah.
this kind of rupture. I think this
Mm,
is a medical word again. Um,
yeah.
rupture.
Like
It gets ruptured.
explode. How can we say it?
Rup, rup,
Non-medically.
yeah, ruptured. I think you should educate and enlighten me, medically speaking, not the otherwise. um, Actually, trampoline is been in my checklist for a while. I haven't tried it. Back in when I was in the United States, we had the chance to try so many things, like swimming with whales, swimming naked in the ocean, um, visiting Lake Tahoe. If you heard of the
No,
car Tahoe,
but
it's in California. It's almost uh, snowy all the time during winter. So people rent huts in there. Huts. I'm adding these words as usual, as a
mm-hmm.
part of the routine. Just we keep records and agglomerate
What is a conglomerate?
uh, to uh, to pile or stack up, pile
Mm-hmm.
up, stack up, agglomerate. I'm not sure about the spelling because I'm a very bad speller. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so what happens that during that time they rent huts in the forest of Lake Tahoe and they just stay for 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. They just enjoy very good quality of time in isolation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Going back to trampoline, it's been on my checklist, like doing skydiving, jumping on trampoline with my friends, but I couldn't find a place because I was so overwhelmed with the amount of tasks that I used to do during my master degree program. So I couldn't have enough time to go look around for used trampoline or rented trampoline just to try it.
I have one if you need.
Well, I would definitely be happy if you just give me the chance to try it soon.
Yeah, more than welcome.
Okay. Now, going back to our major topic here, because we don't want to digress and derail, uh, derail from the major discussion topic. Rail, like train rail.
Yes.
So when the train gets derailed, it means that just it goes off the rail, the railroad. It just goes off, and that probably due to some sort of incident, accident, or whatever pre-planned, premeditated sort of incident. Anyway, so we do not want to derail from the major topic here,
Okay.
but I shall remind you that these are very academic expressions, and I'm using them because I just need to activate using them with you back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, so they become vital to our discussion, so they become active in your discussion. I think your utilization of this list of vocabulary
Use. Use.
is far more important than my utilization of this list of vocabulary. Now, I derailed a lot from my major question, which was what's your plans, preparations, checklist of this week? Like watching movies, watching TV shows, reading something, reading Harvard Business Review article, checking out the links that I sent you, going online to check, learn a few things.
I already did the task that you asked me to do.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I did the speaking test that listening test that you sent it to me. But as I told you that I'm occupied right now to to find a place that can hold that little thing, my son.
I am totally in sympathy with the kind of parental crisis that you are going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I shall admit that this is not an easy peacekeeping. You know, it's not an easy peacekeeping sort of situation. So it's a big dilemma actually until you find a good kindergarten.
Of course.
To
to find good teachers there, and the kind of teacher that can stand the children with their noises and hyperactivity is very important aspect.
Is he hyper?
Yes, of course, like other children.
Okay, I mean not an exaggerated hyper activity.
No, I mean he is very active. He likes to play and to jump and to talk a lot, just like other children.
I mean, I love that. I would be more than happy actually to offer help by posting an advertisement that you are looking for kindergarten in the area where you.
The problem is universal. I think all the kindergartens will not accept children 3 and less, 3 years and less.
How about if you just well, that's. I think this is not one of the options that you have under your list right now. Like bringing someone to take care of him while you're doing other home chores and housekeeping.
No, I want him to go out. I want him to see, to make friends, to play with other children. I want him to communicate more. I mean, what's the benefit to bring someone to take care of him here? I can take care of him, but I want him to deal with the new environment.
But at this age, I would recommend that he gets more contact with you, because this kind of interaction, parental interaction with children, is quite essential to have them acquire more vocabulary. Like in our case, we try to use more common formal expressions. Like me personally, I use expressions that are relatively related to adults, not children, and keep repeating them in their ears, not like in an inductive way, but I just keep saying them while I'm walking around or just talking to them, because I think that is going to give them much better linguistic ability to be more fluent and active in terms of their speaking abilities and their speaking skills. But the thing is, like we have always this kind of dilemma that once they start socializing with kids at school, once this kid does not meet the standards, there's going to be a problem. Having children meet
certain. I'm looking for places where they are more confidential.
Good luck with that.
Okay.
Okay. What other plans have you accomplished over this time? Like you mentioned the listening test. I didn't get the results. Did you just do it?
Yeah,
or
I did it online. I did it online because I found that I will not have the time to put it on the paper, so I did it online, and I took 6. Sorry.
Say it
6
again.
because I did it online. I said I did it online.
Okay.
And I did 2, I think. It was 6 and 6.5. The
6.5.
problem is that one of them is that I sometimes spelling problem will be considered as the wrong answer.
Of course.
Of
course.
Yes, yeah. But I knew the answer and it was correct, but the spelling was incorrect. I could capture my problem, which is when it came to the multiple choice questions with very long answers, more than 3 or 4, 5 words, and I have to pick up 3 or more correct answers or things that are mentioned by the speaker. I struggled, actually. I couldn't keep pace.
Okay. Now, what other
I mean,
challenges?
I'm confused between reading the options written in front of me and between hearing what the speaker is saying. And the problem that they will not mention the same exact sentence. They will use synonyms and other expressions, and I got lost.
Well, that's actually a defining factor between people who get 9 or 8.5 and those people who get 7 and those people who get 4.5 and 6. The only deciding difference from an IELTS examination point of view is the fact that they understand that the speaker is talking about synonyms or using different expression to mean the same thing. So the trick is coming from paraphrasing and using synonyms.
The problem is that I know both of the meanings, but I got confused. I cannot hear and I cannot read, or sometimes I can only read or
Why
hear.
can't you hear?
So yeah. Why can't I hear? I got confused. I could not concentrate. I don't know. I should read or should listen.
Well, you're just repeating my mistake, actually. When I did the test, for the first time, I got 6.5, but it was stupid of me to do it, to go to the test, take the test with 0 preparation. I didn't open one single page of the guideline that gives you some instruction or instructional guidelines on how to take the IELTS listening. Let's talk about listening. Let's talk about listening for the rest of the meeting. And by the end of the meeting, I will ask you about the tasks that you've done and the website and the essay that I gave you. Let's talk a little bit about listening. For listening, what I did, I was supposed to be working as an IELTS examination and evaluation supervisor with British Council in Baghdad. And I got a call from their agent in Baghdad, and she said that we would like to invite you to take the test, and we are going to pay for the test. Okay. So we usually go easy with things that we are not paying for. So we don't give that effort to test that other people are paying for. And I didn't take it seriously, actually. At that time, I was teaching, and I've already had TOEFL tests 12 times. So I was in very good language and linguistic ability to be able to overcome the silly questions that come in the test. But I overestimated myself and I underestimated the test. And what happens is that no matter how many skills that you have and how much experience you have in language, there are certain tricks that you should be familiar to, at least, or familiar with. Like, for example, in TOEFL, you provide the answers simultaneously or a few seconds after you listen to the question. But in listening in IELTS, you have, you provide the answers after you listen to the question. in TOEFL. In IELTS, you do simultaneous responding to the questions. So you have only limited time of around 40 minutes to answer the questions. And the design of the questions is into 4 parts. So for each 10 questions, you receive different set of instructions, almost 10 questions. So what I did out of stupidity, I just went the next day. I woke up the next day. I didn't check the tricks for listening or reading or writing or speaking. And I just went there. I got the speaking interview. I got 8.5 in speaking interview. But in listening, I got 5.5. I got 5.5 because I thought that they will play the recording. I will listen to the end, and then I will respond to the 40 questions.
Yes. No, you have to answer yes at the same time.
So what I was done. So what happened is that I was just only given a few minutes left when the listening was over, and I did not provide any answer. So I was in very critical condition to the point that I just, out of my memory, responded back to some of the questions that stuck in my mind when I was listening. And I got 5 points.
In the first test that I did, yes.
And I think with consecutive attempts, your skills are going to improve because your mind is going to subconsciously prepare some mechanism to overcome the challenges that you have. For listening, we have 4 sections. The first one is casual conversation. The first 10 questions are the easiest. Everybody gets probably full mark on them. The second one is more of instructions and monologue, where you hear 2 people talking about an academic topic. Because remember one thing, the major issue with listening is that it's divided into 4 sections. In IELTS, and for each section, it talks about different issues because they are trying to measure different skills among test takers. For example, like if you are in the committee that is designing the test, you need to make sure that the test tests what it's planned to test. So they bring various scenarios and situations where they test takers. For the first one, it's a conversation between 2 people or 1 person talking about some social relevant issue. And the second one is 1 person talking, and the third one is usually where the challenges starting to happen because they are going to use more academic expressions and they are going to talk about academic topic. And the last one is talking about an academic topic, purely academic topic or general topic if the IELTS is for general purposes. So the major challenge happens in the last 2 sections. So tell me, what major challenges, what other challenges did you have from the first test?
As
academic
you said, sometimes
subjects.
There's academic, and yes, and they give you multiple choices that you have to pick 3, 4 of it that were mentioned by the speaker. I had difficulties in that question.
Okay, now that majorly happens in our case because sometimes like your brain tricks you that not your brain, but the test takers usually do autocorrection. This is one of their tricks. Like when you're listening, he would say, well, I'll, for example, I will amount, but in the writing section, they just say measure. So they're not using the same word. They use, for example, how much did you buy this phone? The other person says, well, I bought it cheap. But in the conversation later on, they would say affordable. They are not going to use the word cheap because everybody can answer that question unless You just need to carefully and intelligently understand that the way they are talking is to trick you. So every question comes with certain trick, but the level of this trick sometimes is advanced, especially if the questions you're being asked to are challenging or difficult or not familiar to you, like nothing within the territory of medicine or pharmacy or engineering, for example.
I don't know about the other test, but the test that I did, I didn't have any problem understanding the words. But the last section, I couldn't even hear. I couldn't follow the speaker because I was busy reading, and sometimes the opposite happened. I hear,
absolutely
I cannot
normal.
read. Yes.
That's absolutely normal. There are multiple distractions that happen. Maybe your lack of constant and repetitive habit development of listening. And actually, this is where the power of habit kicks in, because it's going to help you develop some sort of mechanism and recommendations on which you can rely and trespass this sort of difficulty with listening section, especially when it comes to preparing yourself to overcome such a challenging test. It's not challenging because it requires higher IQ or higher intelligence quotient, but it's challenging because we haven't had enough training to get it. Listening is like touching, it's like smelling, it's like doing other mental activities that require some amount of practice. If you don't train your ears like the way you train your mouth to speak, there is very higher chance you are not going to reach and hit the score that you're planning to get. So in order to do so, we need to constantly take Ielts listening test repeatedly for at least like 15 attempts. And in this time, your brain is going to subconsciously redesign some mechanism to overcome the major challenges that you have at the end. Now, what happens is that your progress is going to fluctuate.
Okay. Yes.
Your performance is going to fluctuate. Like it may go up and down, depending on your familiarity with the topic, the kind of efficiency of your response, the difficulty of the questions, your mental preparedness, and your physical condition, like if you are feeling comfortable or not, and other conditions that may help or interfere with the efficiency of your response. But usually there is a steady progress and escalation in the amount of scores that you get. Like, for example, you got 6. You got, give me 1 second to convert that. So if we convert the 6 score that you got in this test, that means that you responded to 30 questions correctly out of 40, which is amazing. It's really amazing. If you get 6.5, that means you responded to 32 questions correctly out of 40. So see, it's very minor fraction. 2 questions. If you get 36 correct responses, that means you got 7.5 in IELTS. So that's not far. If we're thinking about it, mathematically speaking, this is not far. It's just 5 questions. So what we need to train ourselves is to
think about it this way.
if we have to convert it into math in order to be able to qualitatively measure it and work through that conduit or through that channel. The difference between 7.5 in listening and 6.5 Hear this. 5 questions. 5 questions. So what you need to do, I mean, 6.5 is a very good score that you should be proud of once you get in listening, but nobody gets 7.5 or 8 or 9 from the first attempt unless you have very good contact with native speakers and you've been in very good direct contact with IELTS questions, and you're quite pretty much familiar with the context of IELTS. So, I mean, generally speaking, with my previous history with learners, it takes them around 12 to 15 attempts to get steadily to that score and feel more comfortable with that level of performance in listening. Strictly speaking, in listening, strictly speaking. So you're only 5 questions away from getting 7.5 in listening. Once we hit the threshold of 7.5, the difference between, listen to this, the difference between 7.5 in IELTS and 8 in listening is 1 question. So yeah, just 1 question. So what happens is that, have you seen the so you think you're gonna win the million? It's been a program that was broadcasted some time ago on Iraqi TV. So the higher money they inspire to get, the harder the question becomes. Now look at this chart that I sent you. Do you see it?
Yes.
Look at score 8. It ranges between 37 to 38 correct answers. That is equivalent to 8. But look at 7.5.
Okay, 36.
See? So it's only 1 question.
Yes.
And we just need to train ourselves on 1 question to pass it correctly, and gradually we scale up. Nobody gets a 8.5 directly. They just go through so many thorny roads and struggles and constant listening practice to IELTS to get that. But we have treasure of sources we can rely on. So it's comfortably speaking from my side, I assure you that just the first 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 attempts, you're going to feel more confident taking this test and naturally acing it. Acing it, it means getting very, you will ace it. Once we say you will ace it, it means you will get very perfect score in it or pass it in a very
Successful
manner. Okay. So far, so I've jotted down. I think this is very informal expression, but I have jotted down a few comments here regarding the major challenges that you go through, and I'm thinking of giving you some synonyms that come usually in IELTS. Let's talk about them in listening. For example, they say in listening data, but in written version they use the word information. So it's a trick. Data and information, they exchangeably use them. For example, competitive advantage, they say competitive edge. Calculate, they use the word measure. They use, for example, here, go back, they use the word return. Focus, they use the word concentrate.
Yes.
So these, you see, these are very tricky ones. Like once you occupy your mind thinking that I'm waiting for the speaker to say focus, and then all of a sudden they say concentrate, or vice versa, which is really, I mean, this is really tricky thing, you know. Other ones, let me just send you this list here. It's a quite interesting one. Maybe we can, got also awful, terrible, abominable, dreadful, bad. They usually say imperfect, infamous, dismal, spoiled, evil. Beautiful, they use other alternatives like gorgeous, ravishing, dazzling, exquisite, stunning, begin, initiate, commence, and inaugurate. So you see, it's a quite wide spectrum of expressions that they incorporate
Yes.
there. You know, what other strategies do you use as a listener when once you? I mean, I'm pretty sure at your college you have had this sort of circumstances where you have challenging meeting, or you kind of like not quite sure about the subject you're studying. What kind of strategies do you incorporate to improve your maximize the amount of information from your listening? Just generally speaking, because I need to take that in consideration.
I try to gather my information as to write it down in like a note. You know, they give you a few seconds to read the question. I try to memorize some of the easy and simple questions, and I keep to take notes while I'm listening. This is a very helpful strategy.
But don't you think don't you think that taking consistently notes is going to distract you?
I'm not saying exact long notes. Like I have read 1 to 5, and now I know what he is asking about. So I will keep listening, and I will know that he maybe ask about the date or the location. So I just write it down, like 1 2 words only.
Other strategies that you use, probably maybe that may help you in that perspective.
I will not say during the examination. I said that I start to listen to articles or meetings only in English without subtitles, because I'm trying to understand as much as I can on YouTube. So I can understand them. I can understood them when I heard them before, but I now search for the details, you know. I don't want to get the main idea of that video, for example, or the speech. I want to get more details, because you know, when you will listen for the speaker during the examination, you will ask you about the details that you are listening to.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So let me tell you something. I think in the 10 minutes time that is given to you to read, because you are going to listen to the recording once, so there's no chance that the listening is going to be repeated on the audience, because it's a test, so it's measuring what it's measuring. But you're going to be given 10 minutes, around 10 minutes, to transfer your answers to the answer sheet while you're listening. The best strategy that I tried, and the best strategy that I found most of the test takers who got very high scores did, was to gather as much background information as possible about what they are going to hear, just like what you said, because that is going to build up some structure of the context. So instead of like keeping your mind busy with running so many uncalculable equations about what is going to predictably come, you're giving your mind a context, like this listening is happening in a metro, or it's happening on Mars or in Jupiter. You just give your mind a context. That is going to prepare your mind to be a little bit more settled to respond efficiently to your listening, and it's not going to occupy yourself to a point that you just lose control of what you're listening to, because ultimately this happens if people lose control or track of what they are listening to, just like what happened to you in the first attempt. But that happens naturally to people who are just trying to train themselves to be better. It's very normal condition, and there is no shame about it. There is no absolute embarrassment about it. That just happens naturally. Also, for listening, you gotta be very careful about spelling, and handwriting. And there's
Yes.
this tip that says if you have very bad handwriting, use capital letters for your responses. That is
No, I
going to give
have
them.
good handwriting,
Okay.
but
Um,
I have problems with some spelling. So it turns that it is wrong because of that.
yes. Also, this is probably related to your behavior when you're responding. Once you finish the 40, do you leave any blank ones that are not you haven't responded to, or you just fill them out with whatever um,
No, I left
gesture?
the blanks.
Never
I
do
can't.
that. Never do that. Even
Mm,
if you have, even if you, even if you're 100% not sure about the answer, just never leave it a blank. At least for me, because that is going to give very negative impression to test evaluators regarding your response.
You know why? Because it is the doctor thing. Because we had learned that if you don't know the answer, just don't answer it. Just
Mhm.
do not. Because even in our examination, I remember that we had something called penalty. That if you answer wrong, then it will take half of the right or correct answer.
I think that sort of condition,
Punishment.
that sort of condition is not transferable to our IELTS conference room.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on it. D- dwell on it. Don't dwell on it. Uh, I think. Well, I'm not. I don't think. I think, but I'm pretty sure that my professor used to tell me that sometimes we put very complicated words in tests in listening and writing and reading, because these are distractors. These are distractors because they are going to slow down the readers. They get stuck on them. They'll start thinking, what does this word mean? Do I know the definition? Does it mean this or that or this or that? While you're pondering, it means thinking heavily.
Mm-hmm.
The time is ticking, and because time is ticking, you're just losing count of the minutes left to you to respond. So that is going to be the effective element where they measure the good test takers from the not quite good test takers by just heavily dwelling on the fact that some of them got distracted by these complicated academic vocabulary. So, for example, you go through the list of passage of rating where we're going to talk about it later, of course, and you hear the word catastrophically done, or and assuming that you don't know the word catastrophically, you'll get stuck thinking about it and whether it's similar to the word catastrophe. And if it is similar to catastrophe, where did I learn this word? What does it mean? Did I read it in dictionary? So that is going to distract you. So
Yes.
in test assessment, we call these list of words distractors, المشتتات.
Yes.
They intentionally add them in reading and listening because they are going to distract. So if you don't know the word, think of the bigger picture. You are not after They are not testing you on understanding certain words. They're just testing you on the general meaning. So don't get stuck with certain words because you're not after certain words.
The problem is that I get the main meaning, but when they ask me about details, I don't know. I just have the main idea in my mind.
Okay. I think that is subject to change if you allow us to discuss the possibility of changing that kind of behavior. Okay. Now, you have 5 minutes to give me a presentation about what you read in The Power of Habit. I'm pulling out the
Well,
book.
we decided to read the craving section again.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay.
And you will ask me some questions.
Of course. So do you have any chance to, is there any chance that you can give me some presentation about what you've learned from this reading of the craving chapter?
Okay.
Chapter.
Well, generally speaking, about craving is, I think it is something that motivate us to do things. Sometimes these things are good and sometimes are bad.
Now, how is this? How is this? Because this is all theory.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. Okay.
I'm more about creating some sort of relevance to this reading. I don't want just to have this reading floating in your mind in the oblivion, but I want to create some sort of relevance. For example, to Ielts or to listening. How do you some sort of mechanism of routine and reward and a cue for listening? For example, like let's imagine this. What is your reward that you're going to give to yourself if you get 7.5 this week in listening? We create some sort of relevance to the context of our discussion here. Because ultimately speaking, I'm assigning you to read this book because I had back in my mind that maybe reading The Power of Habit is going to trigger some sort of motivation to help you reshape your reading and writing and speaking skills for Ielts to get a higher score. And while we are reading this book, we are learning vocabulary, we're talking about it, we're just giving you a chance to present it to me, not leaving me only talking, but you take some role in this debate or this discussion, so we can positively come up with some productive and constructive results. What do you think?
I agree with you actually, but what I did is that I link it to the ordinary life, not to the IELTS test.
It can be linked. It can be linked anywhere to whatever point. But the point is that whatever you linked this to, just tell me about it. I just need to understand that there is some glimpse of hope of relevance there you're creating.
Okay. So craving, as I said, is something that will give us some motivation to do things, whether they were bad or good. And I said, like, according to my opinion, the bad or my knowledge, the good things is that related to the survival, like craving or of survival, like we are getting up every day in the morning, that we know we have 3 meals a day, we have to take it in order to provide our body with enough sugar to establish our day and in order not to feel exhausted. Or sometimes the craving for survival, like what will happen in dangerous situations, like when our brain is designed, or our mind will say that do not go to that neighborhood or that street, there is like a rabid animal that will attack you. So this is I think, according to my knowledge, this is a craving for survival, and this is a good one. Sometimes craving will be toward the bad things that will create the bad habits. So, like for example, taking meals a day will enable us to complete or establish our day without feeling tired. But sometimes the brain is so tricky, or sometimes it is lazy, that will look for the better and something better offer, or like a bigger offer. He will say that the last time that you eat that thing, you felt good, so you are now in a bad mood, for example. You are in a bad mood. Why don't you try to eat the same thing or do the same habit that make you comfortable the last time? In this way, addiction or what? Sorry?
Do you think that we are in constant struggle with our mind regarding our preferences in life and our choices in life and whatever choices we do, because our brain tells us that is the best choice to you? Is this a case?
Have to control our habits, or to control like, yes, control our craving. Like, we have to trick our minds. Not, as I said, our mind will always find its way for the better and bigger rewards. Okay. So I have my desires or my preferences. Okay. So I think the bad habit will happen in this situation, that when the mind will need something, a bigger reward, then he will say, go to do this because the last time you felt better, so you will feel better, the same thing right now. That's how addiction will emerge, like alcoholism, cigarette intake, smoking, drugs intake, sugar addiction. So the best way to get rid of all these bad habits is bringing awareness of that problem, that we have to be aware that there is a problem and we are suffering from a problem. And the most important thing is that it is okay to have a problem, but it's not okay to keep doing the same problem over and over again. This is one way to break the habit. I heard a video talking about craving. They said that you have to compete the craving sensation or the craving that emerge in your mind, something stronger. And they said the strongest emotion, that I don't know if craving is an emotion, but the strongest sensation that will defeat the craving is the curiosity. So bringing curious awareness about why I'm doing what I'm doing, what benefits that I will get from these behaviors or actions. So when you have this kind of deep awareness about your problem, then the reward value will drop, and the habit will be break. Like, think it's the emotions and the thoughts will come and go, but the thing that will fix is your behavior and your habit. I said that I link that to my ordinary life, and I apply it in a practical life. Because the last time I said that I have black tea and caffeine addiction, and I am trying to get rid of all of that. Yes. I succeed. I think I succeed because I reduce the amount of caffeine intake. I replace it with the herbal products and plant extract, which are more beneficial. But sorry, I didn't link the subject to the IELTS test.
It doesn't. I mean, it's okay. It's completely okay. I think what you've done is doing the best 5 minutes presentation that I've ever had this year so far. You just gave me a very solid evidence that there is some actuality of application to what you've been reading about in reality, because it's really hard to convert theory to practice without so much effort to be exerted in certain circumstances. What you've done is extremely commendable thing. Commendable. That means you deserve some thanking for it, and I truly appreciate it. I think what you have done is just giving me a very detailed anatomy of the kind of behavior that triggers craving in your mind, and the kind of response from your awareness, or the aware side, or the independent side, or the human side of your brain that just struggles to fight back that sort of craving, because resisting that, it means more safety and more healthy lifestyle to you. That's what I understood from what you've said so far. And I really
Yes.
thank you for this lovely summary. I think you've done great job so far. That's it for tonight. I think you've done a great job, and you deserve some time to have rest and have that.
Okay, but I want just to have to ask you something. I need to give me more task of paraphrasing, because I have a text
Definitely.
with writing. Yes, with writing tasks. I don't know. You want me to use the subject that are written in that one, or you will give me a task from your own?
I will.
Yes,
I
I
will
don't know.
choose. I will choose selectively some tasks, and I will throw them on the document on Google and notify you between now and tomorrow morning.
Okay. The other thing is, I wanted to ask you about something that regarding the speaking aspect. Sometimes I read the question that come in the IELTS test. What should I do when I don't know anything about that subject? I know the IELTS test is not a knowledge based, and it is a skill based. But sometimes I just don't know what to say about it. I have zero opinion about that subject. What should I do? How can I overcome that?
I really think you can easily overcome this by continuing practice, because me being part of the committee that may evaluate you, I am not going to judge whether you know or have background about that topic from expert's point of view, but I will measure how much fluent you are talking nonstop about that topic, choosing even irrelevant things to talk about, just for sake of continuity until the test evaluator shuts me down. The point is to have some sort of continuity out there, just to give them a confirmation that you know that you know English. Just tell them that you know English, and maybe paraphrasing the
Yeah,
question.
that's why I'm asking for more paraphrasing, because I think it will help me even in speaking. Not only
It
writing.
helps you. It helps you dramatically better in paraphrasing, whether in written or spoken. But what I do normally is I imagine words flying in front of me, and I just randomly put them in a context and say that to them. Like, ask me, for example, about anything in for example, in medicine, like any kind of question, and any question in medicine. Just ask me any question.
Okay, what do you know about liver?
That's actually, I didn't expect such a smart question. Liver is an organ in the human body, and it efficiently filters all the germs, viruses, and any kind of
I think
virus
my
that
question was so simple.
it's simple, but the idea, it's not about the simplicity of the question. The idea is about how much details you can go and do for that question. That's why I keep saying, just give me more details. Give me more details. Once I start the conversation with you, I start dragging out words out of your mouth, like for 15 minutes, nonstop. Every day, every time we start talking, I start dragging words out of your mouth because I want you to speak more. I want you to give me more details. That's going to give you more flexibility in speaking, Zainab. And that's what I want. I want you to be more flexible. Just think of it simply. And the major trick, think of three things. Like, for example, if you want to write something, put it into three angles, like three options, three alternatives. If you want to write or speak, just think of it from three perspectives. Like, for example, I love traveling because of three major reasons. Reason number one, that is going to get me attracted to listen to and expect reason number two, and reason number three. Even if you don't know the three reasons, your mind is going to be cornered to think of three reasons. And eventually, you're going to accomplish the job. So mission accomplished. Just answered it, kept talking. People, like, for examination, the test takers, the test examiners, they don't care about the content of what you're saying as much as they care about the language side of it. The diversity of words, the diversity of sentences that you use, the flexibility of grammar, whether there are mistakes or not. So don't overthink it. Just take it casually and as casual as possible.
Okay.
So, two things. I'll send you listening test, and I'll send you a task for paraphrasing that I would be very excited to talk with you about.
Okay.
Sounds good. Go have him sleep.
Okay. Thank you.
Enjoy your lovely evening. Say hi to Jafar.
Thanks for that.